So the next thing, now that you've built out your website and you've optimized the pages so that they can really be clear for Google to understand what they should be ranked for, you need to have a proactive strategy for getting ranked on the Google map. And this is one of the most frequently asked questions that I get from plumbing and HVAC contractors throughout the United States is, how do I get ranked on the Google map when someone types in, my city plus plumber, my city plumbing? And there are three core components that play a major role in getting ranked on the map. The first is you need to have a verified and optimized Google Maps listing. And that, I'm going to explain how to do it. It's actually relatively simple. It's very easy, and it doesn't cost you anything. So that's the first thing. You need to properly claim and optimize your Google Places listing. Most of you have heard this, so this isn't new information. You guys have seen, okay, yeah, I understand. I need to claim my map listing. I've done it, but I'm still not ranking, so what gives? And the reason is there are two even more important components to getting ranked. That's just like setting up the pages on your website. Okay, great, you've got a placeholder. Doesn't mean that you're ranking. So what do you need to do to rank on the map? Well, the other two critical components that drive ranking are consistency of your NAP, your name, address, phone number across the web, and the number of online reviews that you have. So consistency of your name, address, phone number is making sure that you're referenced the same way, not just on Google Maps, but on Angie's List and City Search and Bing Local and Yahoo Local. And I'm going to share with you some of the most important online directories you should be in. So it's kind of a double importance. First, you need to make sure you're in those listings. You got to make sure you're referenced across the web in a lot of different places. But secondly, and just as important, is it needs to be consistent. There shouldn't be a lot of discrepancies as to what your company name and what your company phone number are. And that's one of the challenges I'm finding with bigger, more established plumbing companies that have tried a few companies and failed, is that they don't have consistency of the NAP. And then, of course, having reviews from your real customers in your real service area is critical. And so you have to have a strategy in place for getting those reviews online. So I've got a couple questions here I need to address. How do I get the geographical area without a physical address in the area? That is a very tough question. I'll address that a little bit in a minute, but it's going to be hard for you if you don't have a real location in the city that you want to rank for. It all comes down to having consistency of the name, address, and phone number, and having that referenced consistently across the web. And if you don't have a legitimate location, or if you just have a UPS store, that's not going to get you very far. But I'll give you some ideas a little bit later on this presentation. Tim, thanks for joining us on the call. I'm glad to have you here. Do the reviews from Nearby Now have more value than the Google Places reviews? I would say, and Tim's talking specifically about a tool that we use called Nearby Now, which people can write reviews directly in the Nearby Now system. I would say you want to have your reviews scattered across the web. So you want to have some reviews that are on Google Maps. Definitely want to have at least 5 to 10. You want to have reviews that are Angie's List. You want to have reviews that are on City Search. You want to have reviews that are on all of these online directory sites. Really where Nearby Now reviews come into play, they've already got the H-card format, so when they get posted to your site, those reviews are getting picked up in a way Google can understand. In a lot of cases, you'll get stars, even the organic listings of the search engines. But the real benefit is it's the easiest way for someone to write a review if they don't have any online profiles. If they don't have a Google account or they don't have a Yelp account, it's just a place where they can enter a review and have that picked up. So Tim, I hope that answers your question, but you want to make sure we're getting reviews across the spectrum. So Michelle has a question. We've moved. How do we clear out the old address information out on the web? Michelle, that's one of those moving targets where, moving your address definitely can be done. It just creates some additional work. There are some tools that can help to make that an easier process. There are things like Universal Business Listing. There's things like Yext. I don't necessarily recommend those two tools, but they can make that process a little bit easier for making the update, where you update it one place and apparently they push it out to the online directories. The best way and the right way to do it is to go into these directory listings, go into Angie's List and log in, and go into Best of the Web, and go into Hot Frog manually, with your username and password in tow and update that information. That's really the best way to do it. That way you know it gets done, you know it gets done correct, and you can have that clean nap. So I hope that answers your question, Michelle. And I'm already up at 3:45. I got a lot of additional content to cover, so I'm going to try and answer these questions, but if I can't answer them all, you can definitely get together with me at the end of the presentation, and I'll stay on the line to answer these other questions. My map listing isn't showing up. This is Lauren. My map listing isn't showing up. When I log into my account, it says verification is pending. I've tried to contact Google, and they're telling me that my review is in queue. I have some ideas for you. Lauren, this is probably something we want to talk about after because it's different on a case-by-case basis. Phyllis, or Google Plus listing disappeared 8 months ago. I've been trying to get us back online. Continue to write Google, and they say they're working on it. It's frustrating, although. Any thoughts on this? Phyllis, that is a frustrating situation. It happens. Typically, it happens because either there were duplicate listings or there was something that Google didn't like. Again, get with me after the call, and I'll give you some specific places you can go to get a live person at Google to help you with that process. So I'm going to keep going because I'm running short on time. So again, the fundamentals are to claim your Google Maps listing. The next thing is to have consistency of your name, address, and phone number. The next is to have online reviews. So just some best practices. If you haven't done the first step, which is to claim and verify and optimize your Google Maps listing, you do that by going to google.com/places. So if you haven't done that, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this should be your A1 first priority thing to address right away. Write it down, google.com/places. You can go there. You'll see the image that I have up on the screen. You click on the business owner on the right. It'll ask you to enter your phone number. It'll search the web to find out where you are if you're in the index, and then you can claim your map listing. And then you can follow some of the best practices I'm about to share. If you have another company that did this for you and they claimed your map listing, you definitely want to get with them and get the username and password for the Google account that was used to claim it, because I think that's something you want to have control of, whether you have a service doing it for you or not, so you can go in and make sure that at least these best practices are being met. So some best practices: you have to make sure that your name field in the Google Places listing is your company name. So Google has a very strong policy about this. There was a time where people were entering their company name plus keywords like Denver Plumber dash my company name. You don't want to do that. Google will penalize that. You may have already been brought off the maps for that specific situation. So go in, make sure that it just reads your legal company name. Obviously, you want to have a web address. Phone numbers. You want to use a local area code number. 800 numbers do not bode well on the Google Maps. Google is trying to place local businesses and show local businesses, so an 800 number kind of dictates that you're a larger company and you may not be all of that local. In addition, most people prefer to dial a local number. They want to feel like they're dealing with a local business. So if you've got an 800 number in there, change it back to a local number. You want to use your local address, and this goes back to a question we had a little bit earlier ago. What do I do if I'm not in the location? Well, that is a challenge. Very rarely are we seeing businesses rank on the map if they're not in that city. So if you're in a sub-city outside the main city, you might want to rent an office in the main city. I know that sounds like a big investment. It sounds like a frustrating undertaking. If you want to rank on the map, you do need to be in the city. And don't try and shortcut this. Don't get a P.O. box or a UPS store. That used to work. Doesn't work anymore. It's not really a proactive. It's not a good strategy. Worst case scenario, you can get a virtual office of some sort. But virtual office being they'll rent you a cubicle with an address and a unique suite number. You can do that. Make sure it's a unique suite number, though. A lot of times now they're giving you a suite number, but it's shared by 20 other businesses, which is not going to work for these purposes. So the next thing after you've optimized the listing correctly is you have to have consistency of your name, address, and phone number. And so that means figuring out what your actual company name is. And so if it's Joe's Plumbing and that's what you're going to use, make sure that that's what you use consistently. You don't use Joe's Plumbing and Heating or Joe's Plumbing, Heating and Air Conditioning. Figure out what it is and make sure that it's referenced that same way on all of the online directory listings. Additionally, same thing with your phone number. A lot of people have implemented call tracking, and I'm a big fan of call tracking when it's done correctly. But if you use a different tracking number on your Google Places listing and a different one on your Angie's List listing and a different one on your Bing Local listing, you're creating confusion with Google as far as what your name, address, phone number is. Basically, your name, address, and phone number is like your thumbprint across the web. And if you have inconsistency with that, it's going to hurt your probability of ranking on the map. So there should be a process where you sit down, you kind of look at what's listed out there, you figure out what's already the consistently referenced name, address, and phone number, make sure that it matches up with reality, and then spend the time to go into these directories and clean them up and make sure that there's consistency out there with that information. From there, we find that having real reviews from your real customers in your true service area is critical for getting ranked. And it's not necessarily just about quality reviews. You don't need just 5-star reviews. We find that, even the companies that have low reviews ratings but have a large quantity of reviews tend to get an advantage. I'm not saying you want bad reviews. That's going to hurt your conversion. But be more concerned about getting authentic reviews from real customers than anything else. And so how do you get reviews from your real customers in your real service area? Well, first thing you can do is print out a simple request review card. So have a little postcard-sized document printed up that says, thanks for your business. We appreciate the opportunity to serve you. If you'd be so kind, write us a review. And then send them back on that page to someplace where they'll have access to your online directories through a click. So that could be, yourcompany.com/reviews, and then on that page you've got a link to Angie's List and Google Maps and Yelp.com with a direct link to your listing. So all they have to do is click that link, and they're on the page where they can write the review for you. The second thing you want to do is have a consistent process where you're requesting reviews. So the easiest way to do it is to start to ask for the name and email address of your customers, and then have some process set up, whether it's someone in your team keying in an email after every single call, or using an email responder, an autoresponder of some sort, where the email can just be queued up. But you want to have a process where after the call, the customer gets a thank you email asking them to write, and then asking them to write you a review. Doing that on a consistent basis and having a thank you / request a review process in place really improves the probability of getting reviews, which really improves the probability of ranking better on the map. So everything I talked about just then was really the process of optimizing your Google Maps listing, and it covers a lot more than just claiming your Google Map listing. There's a lot that goes into establishing your name, address, and phone number, and getting real reviews from your real customers. And so just an example, again, of how this plays out in the real world. Company we work with in Brooklyn, New York, prior to working with us, they were spending a lot of money on pay-per-click and on other programs that weren't generating a very strong return on investment. They tried a lot of different things, didn't get ranked where they wanted to rank. We came in, we cleaned up the name, address, and phone number profile. We put a review request process in place, and here they say we now have page 1 spot A position on Google for our most important keyword, Brooklyn plumber, and get traffic and phone calls from customers who found us typing in a variety of different keywords. Working with Plumber SEO is the best decision that I've made, and that was. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're able to take some of these ideas, techniques, and strategies and implement them in your plumbing or HVAC company. If you'd like more tips, ideas, and strategies, I'd encourage you to go to plumberseo.net/free. There you can download our free guide that takes you step by step through some of the best ideas, techniques, and strategies that we've come up with for really most effectively marketing your plumbing business online. We take you through really everything from how to build out your website, the pages you should have on your website based on the most commonly searched plumbing keywords, how to optimize those pages so that they rank well in search, and then how to build inbound links and authority so you can rank at the top of the search engines in the organic and map listings. Really talk a lot about how to optimize your Google Map listing so that you can rank better on the map by getting more reviews, by establishing your name, address, and phone number, and of course how you can leverage social media, Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus to get more repeat and referral business. So download the guide for free of charge at plumberseo.net. And of course, if you'd like to talk with us, you can reach us directly anytime at 866-610-4647.